Welcome to Business World. I'm your host Siddharth, and on today's edition of BWHotWires, we are talking to Mr. Vivek Srivatsa, Head Marketing, Passenger Vehicles Division, Tata Motors. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Sir, let's start this conversation with COVID. What has been the impact of COVID on Tata Motors business operations?
Yeah, COVID has impacted almost everybody in the planet, I guess, and Tata Motors and employees at Tata Motors no less. I think the wave of uncertainty, the wave of a low morale, the fear also of COVID has impacted all of us personally. But in terms of business, heavy disruptions in supply chain, obviously, unpredictability in terms of demand and how do we match it against supply, obviously. 2 months of April and May obviously were very, very challenging. April was a complete zero in terms of market, and May we just crawled up as a industry and as well as Tata Motors. So extremely challenging in many, many ways, both in terms of business as well as a human-centric approach. But there are a lot of positives as well, I would say. I think all of us have discovered that working from home, while it is challenging, it is also bringing along a lot of efficiency. We don't need to spend hours and hours on the road and go meet people in person to conduct efficient discussions. That, I believe, has impacted us in Tata Motors, but I think most organizations across the world have really realized that work from home is probably a large way to go forward. It has also allowed us in Tata Motors to take a step back and relook at the whole opportunities in the future ahead of us. And sometimes in our daily work routine and in the daily cadence of work, we don't have this opportunity. So when all of us at Tata Motors have been able to kind of take a helicopter view and reassess our strategies quite a bit, and as a result, I think a lot of new initiatives have been started in this period. So I think in that point of view, it has been quite positive as well for Tata Motors. So a mixed bag, I would say, is that.
So now this is a very unprecedented situation. We as customers are not moving out. So how is an OEM like Tata Motors reaching out to customers during this time?
We've taken a very phase-wise approach, during the entire COVID period. Initially, most of our messaging was extremely motivating and positive, I would say. We were definitely not looking at asking customers to buy cars in the period from middle of March to almost middle of May. It was more about using our social media reach, using our influence to educate customers to stay indoors, to adopt the right processes in terms of social distancing, safety, as well as a lot of our social media posts were about being showcasing a promising future ahead. Times are tough, but it's not long before you can drive your car out. This is the kind of messaging we were giving out. I think that was highly appreciated by the substantial set of followers that we have. Subsequently, when the market opened, we saw a surprisingly high interest level of customers to procure our cars, the number of people visiting our dealerships. So at that point of time as well, the first thing we did was to ensure that our dealerships were safe to visit. So we laid out a very, very elaborate SOP to ensure that, be it our test drive cars, be it our service centers or our dealerships, they followed the most stringent SOPs to be COVID safe, and we encourage customers who came also to follow it very much. And this is a communication we gave out, that you're welcome to visit us, you're welcome to ask for a test drive, you're welcome to service your Tata car, and it will be done with the most highest standards of safety. Being part of the Tata group, we have to be extremely responsible. So we decided not to push sales at a time when people were distressed. But now when people are really looking at buying cars, we've kind of facilitated their journey?
We've spoken to a lot of OEMs, and demand generation is a key word which is going around. So now there is no demand, or there is a less demand, considering people are purchasing a car is a big ticket expense for Indians. So how are you running any campaigns around this to generate more demand?
One of the areas we've seen is, yes, customers are they want to buy cars for sure. So per se, demand is not the question, but demand fulfillment is a challenge, if you ask me. And why is fulfillment a challenge? Not all of them might be financially in the right place to avail loans quickly. So we definitely have to alter the kind of financial packages we give them. We have to be a little bit more flexible in how fast we deploy these loans. We have to be much more alert on how we reach these customers and encourage them to opt for financing. So for me, the challenge, at least I see from May to probably early August, I would say early September, in fact, is how well we are able to manage the demand, how well we are able to convert the demand into actual sales. That would be a large part of the challenge. So on one side is the financial aspect of the customer. How do we facilitate financial viability for a customer to buy a car? On the other side is also matching what the customer wants and what we have in stock or what we are able to manufacture. Supply chain is one of the key areas that has been affected because of COVID, and that continues. Will we be able to deliver the exact spec or the exact color or the exact product combination the customer wants, considering that we have limited flexibility? That would be also a big challenge. But in terms of schemes and facilitation, it is more about financing, which is going to be most important.
So speaking about challenges, now there is a new trend which has been noticed, which is because of social distancing, people are avoiding public transport. So people are actually looking at personal mobility. So shared mobility will also take a hit here. So are you seeing some kind of green shoots with Tiago or the smaller vehicles in your portfolio?
So yes, definitely. I think it's a right sentiment to imagine that customers would rather prefer personal mobility. We call it a safe bubble of your own personal car. That is something which we are clearly noticing, that people are opting for safer personal transport rather than probably a more riskier public transportation facility. In terms of where the demand comes, I won't say that the demand is only from a Tiago. I guess the demand is all around, actually. I mean, it's not only for the entry hatch, it's also for the entry SUV in our portfolio, which is the Nexon. The new launch of Altroz as well has had a tremendous demand. So I think overall, cars in an affordable category are definitely seeing an uptick in terms of demand. I would not say it is only on the entry car, but it is also on the entry products of all the different categories. But yes, we anticipated that customers would prefer personal transportation, and that is what is actually becoming true. Customers feel that safe bubble, as we call it, of personal transportation is safer in these times.
So now a lot of people must have asked you this, from Indica, Tata Safari to now Altroz, Nexon, and even Harrier. So the whole design language, the whole premium factor to the products, it's all here. So what kind of responses are you getting for Tata Altroz?
Yeah. So Altroz, we showcase Altroz first, obviously, in Geneva, and then there's always been a big excitement around the product. We had the media unveil in December last year, December 2019, and all the media who drove it were extremely impressed. And it was no surprise to us, to be honest, to be humbly honest. It's an outcome of an international quality architecture. We call it the alpha architecture, which is supposed to deliver best in class on all parameters, be it drivability, be it fuel efficiency, be it safety as well. And Altroz, I guess, it created history by being the car which achieved 5-star rating at the time of launch, at the time of its market introduction. I don't think there's been any car, definitely not in recent past, that has achieved that, and definitely not in India. So, and customers have started really appreciating it. It also helps that Altroz looks like nothing else on the road. Thanks to our design team, they've managed to bring out a very, very futuristic yet ergonomically right and design which kind of supports the ride and handling of the car extremely well. So it's a real complete package. We saw the kind of customer response right from January when it was launched, and the demand has just been going up. Unfortunately, we ran into some supply chain issues. We had an issue with one of our suppliers whose factory caught fire, and we couldn't satisfy too much of demand in March. Then the COVID is upon us since then. But again, right from the time we have had gradual unlocks happening, Altroz demand has been continuously up, and it is on par with all our products, I would say, or even slightly higher. So that's a really good and happy news for us, considering it's from a premium hatch category. So very positive news on Altroz, and we expect the demand to keep growing as more and more people see the car on the road, and more and more people actually drive and appreciate how good it is.
Sir, now the government has been really pushing Make in India, and also very strong on Atmanirbhar policy. So what is your thoughts on these two things?
Atmanirbhar is definitely welcome. I think it is a commitment, emotional commitment from the government to encourage people to be self-dependent, and our understanding of self-dependency is to make as much as we can in India. So it is about localization, and which matters a lot to the automotive industry. And I don't want to comment too much about this, this wave of customer sentiment, or I don't even know if it is customer sentiment, but it is definitely media sentiment. And it remains to be seen whether Indian customer puts his money behind his emotion, which is not always true. But however, see, for a company like Tata Motors, of course, we are very proudly Indian, but it doesn't mean that because we are Indian, we lack anywhere. I just spoke about the Altroz. I think it is one example of a product that can be sold anywhere in the world. It's beyond a world-class product. It is probably leading even international manufacturers anywhere else. So for me, the way a customer should look at it is, yes, Tata Motors delivers world-class safety, world-class design, world-class drivability, and yet it is the cherry on the cake is Indian. Your other question was about how do you look at Atmanirbharta. Very welcome, like I said earlier, but I would say the government has to take it end to end. It is not only about welcoming companies to come and set up, but I think we depend on the government also to help in setting up the entire ecosystem. Going forward, availability, basic elements like availability of manpower, where do they stay, and are they educated enough? And when I say educated, do they have the level of skill to start working in a plant? Usually, these kind of things are not facilitated by the governments. It's up to the manufacturers to really work it out. End-to-end approach by the government, which not only supports in giving the space for a plant, but also supports a lot in setting a complete ecosystem, which involves ancillary units, which involves manpower, their education. I think that would be what we as manufacturers would welcome. And then the onus is on us to deliver world-class products, which can not only be consumed in India, but can be exported as well.
current sentiment with the consumers in the COVID situation is Tata Group has contributed 1,500 crores. Now, this is a very big figure, and this figure is running into the consumer's mind, and people are saying now we will only buy Tata Motors vehicle. This is Indian. This is a good thing. This is a positive thing. But at the same time, they are anti some countries like China. So is this an opportunity for Tata Motors? Do you think of this as an opportunity?
So first response I'd like to give is this is not the first time the group has really contributed to the country. Maybe this one time where it's been so much in the media, but on a daily basis, the group is contributing, whether it is through the various NGOs that are run, or the various hospitals, or even the kind of employment that the group generates. So it is not new, but maybe it has been very visible right now. Second point is our new forever range, like I said, was launched before the COVID. We had already made a very bold move and said that we have this range of products, which incidentally is not only the safest range in the country, but is also the youngest range and arguably the best looking range in the country. So to some extent, we had made our move to gain our shares much earlier, even before this. And I would say we are in a good position. In case this sentiment kicks in, people will be able to buy Tata Motor cars wholesomely, wholeheartedly, and not as a compromise. We, like I said earlier, you have an Indian manufacturer which delivers world-class safety. Like I said, safest range, not only in one car, but also a Tiago, like we spoke about, entry hatch, a Tigor, which is an entry sedan. We have 4-star safety ratings on that, so no compromise. And in fact, no other manufacturer is giving in these categories any level of safety certification. We spoke about design, we spoke about fuel efficiency. So I think we are in a good position to gain market share and do well anyways. And if there is a sentiment in this direction, we are in a good position to gain from it. This is the way we are looking at it. We are not sitting back and saying that customers should buy it as purely out of emotion.
Okay, so now the new marketing campaign from Tata Motors is quite edgy. The advertisements are quite interesting. What's your take on that?
In January, we had an opportunity of launching a completely new car and 3 substantial facelifts of our existing products, which is Tiago, Tigor, and the Nexon. In fact, we unveiled 4 new cars to the Indian market. We also announced that the Altroz was 5-star safety rated by GNCAP. Tiago Tigor was 4-star safety rated. Now, we call this new range as New Forever. And the theme is, it is a personality of our product portfolio as we go forward. What we mean is basically they are not new just on the day of launch, but we have committed to keep the products continuously refreshed, and our inspiration more was from the electronics industry, from the mobile phone industry, where you keep getting software updates, keep getting new features, you can continuously customize your phone the way you want it. And we believe Indian customer would change that way even in terms of automotive. So we said that product animations, software related upgrades, customization possibility, these are all levers that we'll continuously execute so that our cars remain fresh and very, very interesting for customers as time goes by, and we don't need to wait for the next model change, which is usually after 3 years, but very regularly you will find something new coming from Tata Motors. And this is the commitment we have given to ourselves and to our customers. And this is quite different for Tata Motors because, to be honest, we did not have this kind of a robust product upgrade cycle earlier. And this was very good news for people who bought Tata Motors, because now their product will age well. Somebody owning a Tiago will always be proud because he'll see new versions of Tiago keep coming in and his product will remain contemporary. So that was the kind of thinking. And obviously, it's a very, very new age thinking, very, very contemporary thinking. And we needed to have a campaign which reflects that. And hence you see the New Forever campaign, completely made in India as well. We were Atmanirbhar in that also. We shot it in the Run of Kutch using an all-Indian crew. Of course, it's come out at a very international kind of a quality. So it's doing well. It's on air right now. We wanted to air it in month of Feb and March, but because of the COVID, we fortunately pushed it to this month. Like you said, the traction for the campaign as well as the demand for the cars are very good.
Also, going forward, companies, OEMs are trying to run lean, conserving cash. So what would your marketing mix be going forward?
Yeah, I think the world is moving digital. As it is, 90% of car buying journey began through a Google search bar, and now it will be even more so. So digital is obviously one area where we'll invest. And when I say invest, it's not just about digital advertising, but managing the entire customer journey on digital. Right from the time he searches for a car, how he even goes through the test drive, the interaction with the customer associate with the dealerships. So probably only his test drive could be physical. We can even deliver the car to his home without him having to come to the dealership. That is the kind of area and investment that we are doing. On the other side, traditional media will continue. We are looking at TV as a very lead medium going forward. Newspapers might get toned down a little bit is what I feel, because the 2 months where newspapers were being circulated as PDFs probably has set in place a new habit, and customers might not come out of it very soon is my thinking. Obviously, TV very strongly on digital, and when markets become normal, traditional media like outdoors and experiential will continue in the future.
What is your future plans, and also if you could share some insights on the upcoming Gravitas and also on the HBX concept that we saw in Auto Expo?
You saw in the Auto Expo that we had showcased two products. One is the Gravitas, which is our top of the line SUV, which is again based on the Land Rover D8 architecture, which is adapted by Tata Motors to be called Omega Arc. So that product will be in the market pretty soon. Obviously some delays because of COVID, but I think customers don't need to wait too long for that. The other product you saw was the HBX concept. Again, it created a lot of excitement. So that is a product we had already announced. So Gravitas would be in the market sooner. HBX being a concept, it is on the way. But like many customers, even I cannot wait to get it onto the roads. Yeah.
It was great talking to you, sir. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, and thank you for giving us your time.
Thank you so much.